cut, we're going to wet all the hair down, and we're going to start by just combing it all through. And what we're looking at doing is we're doing our first section to put our guideline in first of all. So just ensure that it's all combed through. It makes it a lot easier for when you actually start your cut. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to have an inch section right the way through the middle of the head, right the way down to the back. So you want an even section. And that's going to be how you're going to establish your guide through there. So just using the edge of your comb to find that section. Remember how we've gone through this before, using the end of the comb to scrape that line in, to find your section, and then parting it across. So first of all, I'm going to bring all the hair this way to get my first line in, clip this out of the way, then do my line this side and clip that out of the way. So what I'll do is I'll get the sectioning in, then I'll bring the tuition head round so you can all have a good look. And you want to clip this quite tightly out of the way. Remembering with cutting, guys, the neater your sectioning work, the neater your cut's going to be and the more accurate it's going to be. So you want to come across here, and again just an inch right the way through. You want to make sure your section's even from the front right the way through to the back. So what you might want to do is just hold that up every now and again, just to ensure that you're making an even section. And then again, that is going to be clipped right out of the way, and you've just got two sides of the hair that you're going to be working with. So we've got both our sections either side, and then we've got a section coming right the way through the middle there. Okay? So it comes right the way down to the nape of the neck as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this on the side here so you can all see. So what we're going to do is, this is held at a 180-degree angle, so it's straight up. So what we're looking to do is, when we hold if we was to hold the head upside down, we would get this section, when it's all combed flat, would have a line like this. So it's coming longer towards the back, shorter towards the front. So you're thinking about the angle of your fingers throughout as well. Obviously we can't tip our clients upside down, but just imagine that when you're going through your cut. So our first guide is going to be to the front here. And we're going to take a small part of this section. Remember, we're holding the scissors with our third finger next to our little finger and our thumb. Our thumb is the one that does the work, okay? The thumb moves and you've just got your little finger rest on top. We can then take our thumb out and your comb sits in the middle of there while you're combing it through. This we're going to comb straight up, and this is going to find our angle that we're going to cut it in. I don't want you to take this too short because we're going to come in and do our square layers next time, so we need some of that length there, which is a variation of this cut. So I'm going to come in, my fingers are going to come underneath my comb, and as I come up, can you see I'm just tipping my fingers slightly? That's going to bring it shorter towards that front section. And I'm going to club cut that just across. And you can start to see you've got that angle on the hair there. We're going to take part of that section and we're going to bring that forward. We're then going to pick up the next section. So we've got our guide, which is the part we've just cut, and our next section that we're ready to cut. So again, you carry on with that angle. So you're just continuing, you're drawing a line up this way. So what am I going to do next? What do I need to do next? What have I done on this one?
You drop half of it.
Drop half of it.
And pick up the rest.
And pick up the rest. So when it comes to working at the back here, you are still bringing everything straight up. And again, we're imagining that line. As it gets to the back here, you'll start to have some hair that disappears. Can you see? That length there, I haven't had to cut. If I bring the next section up, you'll see that that actually drops away. And that's your length in there. Can you see? That starts to drop away. So if you're not cutting anything at that back section, it is not a problem. Don't worry about it. That's your length dropping down. So now we've established our guide throughout, so we're coming from a length there, to slightly longer just towards the back here. So that's going to encourage that length to be slightly shorter around the front here, giving that texture and the shape around the face. So to follow our guide, we need to take half of this. We're going to half that section we've got through the middle, and we're going to put half to one side. Coming down to the nape again. And that I'm just going to clip in with the clip here. I'm going to work all the way through on one side and then all the way through on the other. So I need to find through here, I've got my section that's my guide still hanging out. Then I need another section to make that 1 inch from the side here. So I'm just coming in and I'm following that line parallel down here, and I'm combing it over, and then I'm going to clip this out of the way again. So part of your working neatly, working methodically as well. If your client comes in and they say to you, I want it left long at the sides still, right the way through here, you might take a small section through here that you're not going to bring up. Today we're going to bring everything up, so it gives us that almost sort of like a cut-off section through here. So you've got that shorter look, a bit like the pictures just on the board here. You can see where this comes back just behind the ear here, and where it comes slightly shorter just through here. You can see that would be that central section we've just taken, and where that length ends there. So I'm going to clip this out of the way. Now I've got my guide and my next section. Just twist that and tuck it away. And again, I'm working with what I've just picked up, working from the front. What I'm doing, as I'm holding this up, I'm going to look for my guide. If you can't see your guide, what does it mean?
Section's too big to have section.
Yeah. So I can see, can you see my guide if I come up?
Yeah.
Can you see my guide in there?
Yeah.
So as you're coming up, this is coming straight up from the head again. You're looking for that guide and you're stopping just so you can still see the guide above your fingers. So we're half in that. Bringing part of the next section up. Can you see the guide coming through again?
Yeah.
Looking for that guide, angling those fingers. Part of the previous section again. Part of the next one. And what you're going to do is you're going to repeat exactly the same process on both sides. Make sure the hair's combed through thoroughly from the bottom right the way up. And then again, following your comb up and tipping your fingers. So you can start to see there's not much to cut off there, but I'm still going to bring my next section up just to double check that there's not anything else which needs to come off, any stray hairs. So there's just a few in there to come off. So what am I going to do next? Thinking about what I've done so far, how do I need to get up to my next section?
Another inch in it one way.
Yep.
One side.
So our guide, going over, we're splitting our guide in half, so we haven't got too much hair in our hands. I'm just going to clip that out of the way. So my next section, I'm going to turn this around once I've made the section so you can see. So this is my next section, and I'm going to work on that first section just at the front there. And just work square on with your work, okay? So there's my guide. It's getting a little bit wispy towards the sides there. Half of that. My next section. Everyone was here for their one length cut, weren't they? Everyone's done their one length. Yeah. And again, just tipping your fingers as you get to that back section. If you lose your guide, go back through, make your section slightly smaller, then bring it up again and see whether you can find it again. So you can see as I'm coming to the back there, there's nothing to take off. My next section, obviously be careful of those beards, so I'm just going to leave that long and I'm going to clip that out of the way when it comes to our beard shaping. And I'm just going to bring part of my guide and that section up again. So I can't see my guide in there very solidly at the moment. I'm going to bring a little bit more down. There you go, there's my guide there. And as you're coming to the sides, there won't be as much to take off. Just think about the distance that's travelling from there right the way up. If we have a look at our layers here, we've got the same length from there to there. But as we then bring this down, just look at how that falls. You've got that differentiation in length. And that joins and connects through you bringing it all up, then it laying back down. And what you would do is you'd repeat that process exactly the same towards the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this back to a central parting, and I'm just going to show you how we'd cross-check this cut. So you can start to see through here, we've got that shape, a bit more texture, and this cut would be really good with a bit of a wave to the hair, a bit of a diffuser dry that we've already done, or a bit of a finger dry, just to leave it a bit ruffled, a bit sort of softer through there. And then maybe even if it's got a bit of natural movement to it, a bit of like a sea salt spray through there, just to give it that matte texture. So we'll have completed all of this side. We then start doing exactly the same process on the other side. So to cross-check our cut, we would bring part of a section this side, part of this side up. And what we're looking for is for that to come even. So you can see through that side, I've actually got some of this side coming up. And again, next section, bring it up, remembering that it is going to come longer the further back you come. If you're still unsure and you still want to just really go over that, take a larger section of the hair and you're going to bring all of that up to ensure that connects. Okay? Another way of checking through your cut to have a look at the balance is to come through and just to put your scissors down and use your fingers to feel the balance. So running your fingers through, bringing it back towards you, just to check both sides are completely even. What I'll do is I'm going to leave this side, but in case anyone gets this side done and then gets a little bit stuck, then I can show you on this one rather than do it on your tuition heads. Okay, thank you, Sean.